So we're going to watch Emmalee here doing a snatch. Emmalee came in 4th in last year's CrossFit Regionals. Very talented athlete. What we're going to watch her do is a snatch, and we're going to key in on something during her first pull that I think a lot of CrossFitters do. And so we watch her set up there. Her setup position is actually pretty good. She could probably afford to drop her hips just a little bit, but let's watch her first pull. Pulls her hips down, perfect, and boom, right there, you see her hips come up. So we're going to isolate that and key in on that for a moment. That's roughly a straight line right there. Hips cross that line first. So this is an important designation that we need to make, that the power deadlift position that most CrossFitters are generally taught is much different from the snatch or clean deadlift position. The hips are higher, and the shoulders for the power deadlift will be way out in front of the bar, and there's a reason for that, because we want to incorporate the strongest muscles that we possibly can. The snatch and clean deadlift, however, are much different in that the hips are lower, and we're not trying to incorporate as much hamstrings in that first pull, because we don't need our best deadlift to get our best snatch and our best clean. That being said, even if you put people into the right position, like here, Emilee's in the right position, right? As soon as she starts lifting, she kind of defaults back to what would be her normal deadlift position. Her shoulders are out over the bar, and the hips are really high. And so it's important that when we're teaching our athletes to do kind of the strict Oly lifts, not necessarily for a WOD, but strict Oly lifts, we need to teach them to keep their chest up and their shoulders high, higher than they think they should, because now we're going to find out the consequences of this type of lift, okay? So you can already see her weight kind of coming forward. As the bar crosses her knees, her hips are where they should be, right? Her hips are as high as they should be. If she lifted the right way, though, we might have a torso angle like that. It might be a little steep. Or maybe like that, right? So if she keeps her shoulders high, she's going to be in position for a much shorter and faster jump, which is really what we want. But you see how far forward her hips have to come now to complete that jump. And then you see that she comes forward. Another common error that we see, she's starting to pull with the arms pretty quickly. That's just because she's a strong athlete, and sometimes we default to what we're best at, right? She's got strong arms, she can do muscle-ups like crazy, so she wants to pull this bar up with her arms. So some clean pulls, some snatch pulls, to teach her what it feels like to jump with open hips would be great. So a lift-off where she defaults to her old deadlift position leads to a jump that's elongated and slow, and then everything comes forward. Right? Her hips have to come forward to complete that jump, a lot further forward than she would have wanted, and everything gets pushed forward. That being said, she's strong enough to complete this lift, right? I think they were lifting at about 80 to 85% that day. And you can see it's really no problem for her. And what that tells me as a coach is that Emmalee hasn't reached her ceiling yet. If she can get under that much weight that easily with those errors in form, then once she hones in that technique and learns to lift and jump vertically and not affect the bar trajectory so much, her ceiling on her snatch and clean is just going to go sky high. So, just to review, great setup position. Hips come up early. Leads to an early jump because really, once the bar crosses the knee, her hips are in the right position. So she starts jumping right here, right where her hips should be jumping, but because her torso is so far forward, it makes it an early jump because now the bar is lower on her legs. Forces everything forward. And all in all, that's a successful lift with some things to work on. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks.